Hi everyone, I'm going to do another of these videos where I talk through a Medium article that I wrote. So if this is not your thing, you probably want to stop watching now. The last one of these that I did had a good response, so I'm going to do another one. This one, title as you know because it's on the thumbnail for the video, it's 200 Days in Drip Network, my true story. And so I published this last week, well actually 20th of May, but I was away for a week. I didn't get a chance to make a video. Anyway, blah 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 blah. So first thing I want to tell you is I struggled to find an image for this one. I just didn't have any inspiration, and then I found the picture of this guy looking surprised, and I did tweak his eyeballs to make it look like he was looking at that drip logo. It made me chuckle. Okay, let's get straight into it. 200 days. Well, I actually started with drip on the 24th of October last year, 2021. It's been a little over 6 months, and 200 days just sounds good. It was actually about 208 days, I think, when I wrote this article on Medium. But here's the brief timeline. I started on the 24th of October with $900, and I bought about 60 drip and put them into the drip faucet. And on the 28th of October, so 4 days later, I wrote my first Medium article about drip and shared it with close family, and 2 of them jumped straight in. What I mean by that is they immediately wanted to set up their own drip accounts. And they did do that, and they've both recently passed the 100 drip point, having started with only about 12 drip each, I think, back in end of October last year. So they've been celebrating that. And 1st of November, I read an article by a guy called Patrick Cryptozoa, who you might have heard of. He's the guy who started Cryptozoa, the biggest drip team, I believe. His article was about retiring now with a $32,000 investment, and my dad had died, I'm not sure when. Well, he died in November 2020, and he left me his estate, which meant his dilapidated house, and that we finally managed to sell that in July 2021. So I had some money sitting in the bank. I wasn't sure what to do with it. And potentially we could have invested $32,000 at that point. The article that Patrick wrote, if you need the link for that, just ask me, I'll find it. It was a very persuasive article, and I really wanted to try it. So I shared the article with my wife, and she was very excited by it as well. And she said, do you want to do it? Do you want to retire? And I said, yeah, I'd love to. But just saying those words felt a bit scary, and we thought that we might do it, and then we talked about it later on in the evening, and we thought, actually, this is crazy, let's not be so reckless. And my motto has always been, take risks but don't be reckless, and the thought of risking or being reckless with $32,000 it was too scary. So we didn't do that, but we continued talking about it, and then, so that was the 1st of November, and then by the 5th of November, I showed her some projections using my friend Derek's spreadsheet, which it does a similar job to Kelly Snook's spreadsheet, in projecting how your drip investment could develop. And the numbers were just staggering, and I showed it to my wife, and she said, we have to try this. We agreed we'll go sort of 50% in. We were willing to put in £10,000 British pounds, which equated to about $13,500. We felt that if we lost it, we could stand that loss. We could live with ourselves. And it wouldn't impact our plans too much, because we had some plans for using that money for extending our house. we felt that we could still afford to do that even if we lost that investment that we were willing to put into drip. I mean, it sounds crazy to think that we could say we are willing to lose $13,500, but we were, and we went ahead on the 5th of November and invested $13,500. I wrote an article about that at the time, which I recommend you read, because it's basically just a documentation of that day, of how that day unfolded, and it was brilliant. Ended with fireworks, literally a firework display out of the hotel room window. So we went ahead and did that, and then by the 29th of November, so look, that's 24 days later, we made our first claim withdrawal from drip, because the price was going up nicely and we felt confident doing that. And our main goal was really to recover our initial investment as quickly as possible, because we didn't want to lose it, and we wanted to prove that this was a viable, I suppose we wanted to prove to ourselves and our friends and family that we hadn't just blown $13,500. So we wanted to try and recoup that investment. And then I'm just going to move that little guy there. By the 7th of January, we were celebrating that we had actually recouped that initial investment in full, because the price of drip when we first invested was about $15 to $18. I think $15 on the 28th of October here, and then by the 1st of November or the 5th of November, it was around $18. In November and then through January, it was reaching its all-time high, which was close to $200. So it was very easy for us to recoup our investment very quickly, within 6 weeks there. And then February through March, April, May this year, my wife and I have travelled a lot. We've enjoyed having lots of extra money every week, and that inspired me to write an article at one point which was titled Every Friday is Payday for Me. Excuse me. Because it literally was, and still is. People say that you shouldn't sell drip at such a low price. The price today is it's under $12. But I already got my investment back, and I don't feel like I'm doing anything wrong by selling drip at this price. I'm putting drip back out there in the market for people to buy who want to get in at this price. I'm happy with that. If I can make $12 for every drip, I'll show you my faucet in a moment. For the next few months, and maybe even for the next few years, I'm going to be very happy. I'm not going to be a millionaire at that price, I don't think. But what it does do is put a lot of extra money into our weekly and monthly finances as a household, which is tremendous, and it's allowed us to do a lot. We've been all over the world, not quite literally, not yet. We've been to a fair few places around the UK and Europe, and we are heading over to the States in July. So now, May 2022, well, I know it's June now, but when I wrote this, we were preparing for a trip to Krakow, Poland. We cancelled the hotel that we'd originally booked and paid a deposit for. We booked a much nicer hotel with a spa, a gym and indoor pool, because we could afford to. We don't have to choose the most cost-effective option every time. And wow, what a great decision that was. That hotel was fantastic. And we put their spa facilities to good use, I can tell you, on the days when it was raining. We were in Krakow for a week, and we did some of the sightseeing, including Auschwitz and Oskar Schindler's factory. I'm just going to pause this while I have a swig of coffee. Okay, so I'm back. It was a tremendous trip, and we would not have been able to afford to do that if it weren't for drip. Or we could have done it on a budget, on a shoestring, like we've done trips in the past. we wouldn't have been able to enjoy it anywhere near as much as we did, and that was thanks to drip. So let me just go a bit further down this article. So here I've explained that the money that I make each week depends on the price of drip and whether or not I decide to sell. There have been points where I've thought, my wife and I have agreed, no, let's wait a while and see if the price goes up a bit. And unfortunately, generally it hasn't. It has been on a steady decline because the whole market has. Let's not just worry that drip's steadily declining. Everything has been. I think we may have found the bottom, although I've said that before, and it has dipped even further. I think we might have done now because it's bobbed under $11 recently and back up over 11 a couple of times. So I'm hoping that we might be about to see some upward action, upward price action. All right, so what was I saying? What was I waffling on about here? The amount of money I make depends on the price and whether we decide to sell. Yes. So I'll be selling some tomorrow because we're heading off on our next trip, which is a European trip. We're going to Rhodes, to a very nice luxury resort in Rhodes. Hotel. Very nice luxury hotel in Rhodes. And we're going to need some spending money for that. So, and I mentioned that there is some innovative new scratch-off lottery stuff coming for drip, which you may have heard about. So there's a lot coming in the pipeline for drip in terms of new utility and new partnerships, which I think even in this bear market will have a very positive effect on the price. And then in this Medium article I did a quick summary of the numbers. So total amount invested was $14,500 because I'd already started with $900-ish investment the week before we made our big investment. Total amount received, now this is the good one, look at that, over $50,000. I'm not kidding, I've got a spreadsheet with all the numbers in. In fact, I should have prepared that and I could show you. It's been, what is that, 14.5 times 4? Is it about 4? I think it's about 4x, isn't it? 4x return. It's certainly been over $50,000 return in total. So we've got our initial investment back plus an additional $35,000. Where's it all gone? It's gone on making memories. I've got plenty of photos. That I've calculated the ROI there to 244%. I'm not sure why. That doesn't seem. I think I'm not an expert at calculating, because what I did was, I might as well talk you through this. I did the difference, so that's 35.5. Here's my calculator. I did the profit, 35 and a half thousand, isn't it? 35,500 divided by the initial amount, 14,500, and then times that by 100. 244. Yeah. Okay. I did fail my A-level maths. Anyway, the deposited amount continues to grow and produce almost 1%, and it produces a fixed 1% interest every day. Right. I'm going to show you my faucet account now. Where has it gone? It's not there. It's here. I've zoomed this one in a bit so you can see the numbers more clearly. I'm just going to put that up there. So, total deposits, as you can see, 1,038 drip with a current value of 11,700. The current value of my deposits is not very meaningful, although it's nice to see, because of course I can't withdraw that. All I can withdraw is this amount here, which is 1% of this every day appears in here. For anyone who's not familiar with how drip works, this deposited amount 1% of this amount every day appears in this pot here. Call it a pot for want of a better word. So every day I get, I'll show you with the calculator, seeing as you already know that my maths is a bit flaky. How much drip do we have? 1038. Might as well be precise about this, eh? 1038 divided by 100. So that's how much drip I'm earning every day in interest. 10.38. Now what I tend to try and do is reinvest that more often than withdrawing it. Try and reinvest it 4 days a week, sometimes only 3, and to be honest, sometimes only 2. So let's say I'm going to claim that on a 4:3 ratio, so I could claim that 4 times a week. 41.5 drip, and then I lose 10% when I claim. That went wrong, didn't it? It was 41.5 minus 10%, and then I lose another 10% when I sell it back to BNB. So 33 drip a week, and that still allows me to reinvest the interest 3 days a week. Now if I multiply that by the current price of drip, which is, let's round it down to $11, near enough $370 a week, times that by 52 and divide it by 12, how much a month is it? It's over $1,600 a month still, and that allows me to reinvest the interest 3 days a week, so I'm still growing my deposits at quite a significant rate. That amount will be $1,100 within a couple of weeks, so I'm going to be adding more than 10 a day. You can see it's going to take less than 10 days or 10 reinvestments to get to 1,100, and then it does grow exponentially. The journey to 1,200 is going to be even shorter, and likewise to 1,300, etc., etc. I'll be at 2,000 fairly quickly, even while claiming $1,600 worth a month. So let's go back to the Medium article now. How is this possible? It's DeFi. Anything is possible. The old rules don't apply here. I still get people asking, how is this feasible? How can it pay out so much money? Someone asked me this today, and my response was, Drip Faucet is not paying out money, okay? It's paying out drip tokens, and the drip tokens only have to exist at the point that you claim them to your wallet. So as long as there's sufficient drip tokens in the drip vault at the time that people want to claim them out to their wallet, that's all that matters. Before that, they're just numbers on a screen. And so the money comes from the value of the price of the token. And if people value that token, if people are buying it, the price goes up. If there's demand for it, it's just a supply and demand. There hasn't been very much buy pressure recently because of the bear market. People aren't buying, or they're not buying as much in general across all crypto. And drip has been affected in the same way as other cryptos have, unfortunately. But still, my investment is growing at 1% a day. And people have even said, but that doesn't counteract the price, the decrease in price. Doesn't matter. Unless I'm selling it right now, which I know I've already said that I will be. But look, the thing that matters is my investment is growing. It continues to grow, even though I'm selling some every week. I'm only selling part of the interest. and part of it I'm reinvesting. So my deposit amount continues to grow, and when the price of drip goes back up again, which it will, and it could easily get to its all-time high again soon within this year, 2022. Imagine if it was $200. Let's get the calculator out again. Let's have a look. Let's start again at the beginning. Well, I'm essentially getting 10 drip a day. Let's keep it simple. And if I claim them 4 days a week, that's 40 drip a week. Let's take off the 2 times 10% for taxes, which I don't mind paying at all because this is what makes it all work. What did I do there? 40 minus 20% equals that. Now, let's say that drip was $200 like it was a while back in January. Let's multiply that by 200. That's more like it. Imagine near enough $6,500 a week. Pure profit, of course, because I already got my initial investment back. Pure profit. Let's times that by 52 weeks and divide it by 12. 27,000. It's almost $28,000 a month. That's what we're hoping for, isn't it? The price of drip goes back to its all-time high. It might not happen this year. It might not happen until next year. But it's going to happen at some point. The money is going to get ridiculous. It's going to become obscene. I'm telling you. Right, back to the article. Let's see, what else was I rambling on about in here? Oh yeah, so I said I'm reinvesting 4 days a week and withdraw 3 days a week. Well, I try to mix it up a bit. It depends what I need to pay out. So we booked our summer holiday, which is our trip to Rhodes. We booked that back in January, and the price was January when the price of drip was, $200. Now we need some spending money for that. So I'm going to have to sell more than 3 days a week this week. But that is a good ratio to aim for. Reinvest more than you claim, and eventually you'll achieve the max payout. I've estimated that I'll hit that around June 2024, 2 years from now. 100,000 drip tokens will net me nearly $1 million if the price stays at 90. It was 19 when I wrote this. Okay, so it's gonna, based on that, it's probably gonna still earn me over $500,000 if it stayed around $10. That would be okay. I'm okay with that. If I make $500,000 from a $13,500 investment, wow! How else could you do that? Apart from if you got lucky by buying some token that appreciated massively in value. And as I've said before, you can do that. You can get lucky. You could buy something like Shiba Inu when it was a fraction of a cent. And when it moves a few decimal points, if you've got enough of it, you can have a significant life-changing amount of money. But would you know when is the right time to sell it? And once you've sold it, that's your asset gone. Beauty of drip is that your asset remains. And because you can't sell that stake, that's locked into the contract. All you can sell is the 1% that you earn every day, which ultimately will be worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions, if not several millions or tens of millions of dollars. So that's why I love drip so much. And I highlighted that here. The beautiful thing is I'm only ever selling the interest, not the underlying asset. When I sell, I don't diminish or undermine my investment. Right, what's next? Let's try and wrap this up now. I have already started several other wallets. So that one that I showed you is my main wallet, but I do have more than 10 other wallets, and they will all max out at different times. plan in the early days was I would keep growing them all simultaneously, but that hasn't happened. Some of them I've got 10 what I started with, what I call my children wallets. They're not for my children, they are the children of the main wallet. So I've got 10 of those, and they've got like about 75 drip each. So in addition to what I've shown you in my main wallet, I do have over 750 drip spread across some other accounts, and I've got some other little ones like with 12 or 15 drip or so in, one of which I'll be gifting to somebody when it hits 100. Same with one of the others. That's my plan, is just to have these growing and gift them to people once they get to a reasonable amount that they could produce a steady little bit of passive income. Right, so I finished this with information on how you can join me. Now, I'll keep my buddy ID in the description for the video, but it's here in this Medium article, which I'll also link to, should you want to join me. You do need a buddy to get into drip, and if you want a good buddy, what you should be looking for is someone who's someone who's very knowledgeable about drip, first of all, someone who's active in the drip community, able to offer advice and information, not financial advice, of course, but strategic advice about how to get the best out of your investment. Maybe someone who can help you grow your own team, because that's something that I forgot to mention here. So I got to this point with over 1,000 drip. When I started back in November, it was only, I think it was 340 drip. Now you can see how much I've made in referral rewards, over 300 drip in referral rewards. And of course that has gone straight into my deposits, which has been gaining 1% interest every day. So it's compounding my daily interest plus the referral rewards that have gotten me to over 1,000 drip today, and 131 direct referrals in total, including the indirect referrals, 285. So if you want a buddy who can help you grow your own team, I'll tell you how I've done it, what the secret to my success has been, and I will encourage you and help you to achieve similar results if that's what you want. We do weekly prize draws with drip prizes airdrop to winners. So if you want a good buddy who's active and knows drip very well, I would love it if you would choose me and use my buddy ID. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Telegram. I love to hear from people who've watched my videos and read my articles. If you've got questions, please don't hold back, just ask me. I will, if I can answer it, I will do. Okay, wow, nearly 30 minutes. Anyone who's watched this far, thank you. Well done, I'm impressed. And I hope you'll reach out to me. I hope you'll go ahead and make an investment in drip if you haven't already. And maybe we'll connect at some point in the future. Okay, that's it from me. Over and out.